Welcome to Sailing with the Jameses. I'm Kate, and this is Sam. And this is our daughter Charlie. A couple of months ago, we sold our house and all of our belongings and bought Endless Summer, a 55-foot Bruce Roberts yacht. We are now living on board full-time while we sail around the world. Follow our journey by pressing subscribe. This episode on Sailing with the Jameses.
We go shopping in Townsville, we service the main engine, and then officially put summer up for sale and have a quick look at the decks. Here we are, guys. We're just leaving the marina and we're going to head and do Kate's favourite thing, which is shopping.
We're going to do Sam's least favourite thing, which is spending money.
So what we've got is we've got a little trolley that we take. It's kind of weird. Charlie actually prefers the trolley more than her pram half the time. She quite likes sitting in there. Some freezer bags. We've been told it's around about a 10-minute walk up to the strand. So we're just leaving the marina complex now and heading out. We'll go along the foreshore and then to Coles from there. And if you look out to this side, what we have out there is a breakwall. Inside the breakwall is what they call the duck ponds, and it's fairly silted up, but a lot of boats go there outside the marina. And you can see the green mark there on the end of the rock wall closest to us. That's the entry into the marina at Townsville there. So that's where we went in through to park just the other day. And that there is the beautiful magnetic island. Oh wow, this is fantastic. It's a massive water park, probably only 5 minutes from the boat. Whenever we go somewhere, we always look for places like this where Charlie can go off and play with kids of a similar age. When I was younger, I grew up on a boat for a while myself, and I always remember there being heaps of sailing families with kids of similar ages, where this time we haven't quite found that the same. So it's important for us that Charlie has other kids he can interact and play with, and this place looks fantastic for that.
And here we have this stinger board. So basically in far north Queensland we've got stingers, so your ear congee, your box jellies and a few others. So all around the towns in Queensland you'll see that there's some vinegar that's always available, just in case you get stung, and this just goes through like what the procedure is. So we are in stinger season at the moment. So we get stinger nets out like on the beaches and everything, so you can still swim in the ocean, and then you can still go swimming like off the beaches and everything. People just be smart about it. You get stinger suits, people wear leggings. You just want to keep the tentacles off your skin from connecting with your protein. That's basically how it works. But yeah, it's a neat thing. It's not yeah, I wasn't used to it when I moved to Australia. It's something that you got to get used to for the area. Stinger season, non-stinger season. Yeah. And we'll get back to heading to Coles.
Oh wow, so we've got Coles just up ahead. It literally is probably less than 10 minutes walk from the marina. A lot of people ask us why do we walk and sort of do the trolley thing and put Charlie in it, and we like the excursions. Like a lot of the marinas will have courtesy cars. The one at Breakwater, it's $10 for 2 hours, so they call it a donation, so it's very cheap. but we don't mind the walk and the excursion. I will head on into Coles, buy our big for Christmas and gives all sorts of goodies that we don't normally get, and then be on our way home.
So anyone that doesn't know, Coles is a grocery store brand here in Australia. So there's two major ones, Woolworths and Coles, also known as Woolies. And Coles is just the one closer to the marina. So I'm gonna go grocery shopping. And we are back at the marina. We're headed to G Finger. And it's a really nice marina. The ladies in the office have been so nice. And the facilities are really, really nice as well. The showers, the toilets. I don't know about the men's, but the...
always really, really clean. So
yeah.
It's really, really good. Yeah.
And everyone we've met so far has been also really nice. We're doing a bit of what is it called? Window shopping? Boat window shopping? Looking at people's boats, seeing what they have. Just find it a bit interesting. So Townsville's also in the cyclone belt, and it is cyclone season. So you can see like this catamaran here, we haven't met anyone off there yet, but their sails are down and everything, and you can probably see they've got multiple lines going to their boat. You'll find that a lot of people have their sails off. It's just for cyclone season. So if a cyclone were to come, the policy here is that you need to have your boat.
You too.
Hey! You need to have your boat really well tied, and there's procedures to follow and everything. So yeah, you'll see if people aren't here using their boat, they've taken their sails down, they've wrapped everything up. There's one there that has wrapped their main sail up really well, just in case a cyclone comes. They're well prepared for it, and they don't need to fly up or come or drive. Their boat's really well secured. Yeah. And cyclone is what we call hurricanes in the southern hemisphere. And these are the facilities. So you've got the gents bathroom, the middle one is laundry with 4 washers, 4 dryers, and the end one behind the passion fruit vine is the female. And this is the local community area, free Wi-Fi, barbecue area, and all of this is a community garden as well. So there's like eggplants growing, there's some peppers growing, banana tree. Up there is papaya. Way up there is papayas. There's some green papaya up there, lime tree and everything. It's really, really nice, really well set up. And the girls in the office yesterday, were telling us that there's a courtesy car for hire, a 2-hour hire, and it's $10 to hire. There's like a community page that has donated a car. Yeah, anyone in the marina staying here can use it. It's $10 for 2 hours.
Here we are, arriving back at the boat, and the next thing on the agenda will be servicing the main engine. Today I'm servicing the main engine. So what you can see here is this is where the dipstick normally goes, which tells us how much oil we have in it. I've pulled the dipstick out, I've put a pipe down there, and that pipe is attached to this vacuum pump here. And essentially what the vacuum pump does is it sucks the oil out of the engine. The reason we do this on boats is because with your car you can put it up on a hoist and get underneath the engine quite easily and then just drop the oil straight out of the sump. But on a boat, I'm a little bit too big to climb down and underneath there and try and undo the sump plug and do it that way. So one of the main reasons we're doing it here in the marina is because they've always got disposal facilities, and up there they've got a waste oil tank so they can dispose of it responsibly. The type of services that we do on here are 250 hour, 500 hour and 1000 hour. Now that 250 hour, we don't use the engine too much, and it's either 250 hours or 1 year. And with the 250 hour, we pull the oil out of the sump and we change the oil filter. Now the oil filter on summer isn't actually on the engine, it's remotely mounted on the side there. It's that orange filter, so it's so much easier to get to. Those there are the doors on the other side, and I'll spin it off and do that. The moment I'm getting the oil out first, because I've run the engine for a little while, made it nice and hot, and that way it's a lot easier to suck the oil out, especially because we're using a very small hose here. So that's the hose there that we're trying to suck it all out in. We just have a bit of patience, pump the vacuum pump every now and again, and that will suck it out. Now the 500 hour service, the difference between that and the 250 hour service is that we check the anodes and the heat exchangers. The heat exchangers are the two pipes at the back here. We have nest of tubes heat exchangers, and what that means is there's a whole heap of little tubes in there, and the water runs through the tubes, the cooling water, and then whatever element we're trying to cool, which is oil or fresh water, will run around the outside, and that's what will exchange the heat. But because there's a lot of activity and disturbance with water, we do have pencil anodes that go in there, and we do that, and we do the fuel filters. Now Summer's got a fuel filter round on the other side, which is a secondary, and this is the primary. We've got Raycor primary fuel filters. It's an element fuel filter, so you undo the top, pull the element out, put a fresh one back in, and you always check just to see the state of it as well. The next service that we have is a 1,000 hour service. Now the 1,000 hour service is the first two things, plus we change the gearbox oil, check the gearbox strainer, and we take this top bit off the engine here, which is the rocker cover, and we do the valve lashes just to make sure that they haven't changed too much. We get a feeler gauge in there, and we do that. With every service, you know, you want to check your belts and your mounts and everything, but you're kind of doing that all the time anyway when you're doing your pre-start checks or running checks as you're going along. And just the general condition of the engine. Notice we've got a small leak at the back there coming out of that heat exchanger, so I'll have to have a look and see what's going on there. I always like to keep the engine fairly well painted. The main reason being isn't just that it looks good, it's so you can tell if there is a fresh leak or any fresh oil or anything like that, just as a basic health check. If you keep it nice and clean and keep it nice and painted, then things become more obvious when they're not working 100% the way they should. This engine is a 1987 engine model, so it is older, so everything on it isn't going to work perfect. You can't be too fussy, but you want to keep it as good as you can and keep it going. It's a marinized tractor engine that Ford Leham. They converted the standard tractor engines into marine engines, so they're very good, very long, and hopefully will last a very long time. But yeah, once we've sucked this oil out, we will then spin the filter off, put a new filter on, then we'll fill it back up with oil, have a look on the dipstick, make sure it's around about the full mark, and then we'll run the engine for a bit, double check the marks, because once you have run it and spread the oil out in the engine, sometimes it does change a little bit, and I always like to keep it just below the full mark. And that way, once I know exactly where it is after the oil change, when I do my checks, pre-start checks before we go on voyages, I know where it was to know where it is to see if there is any change. With Summer, if we do run the engine hard, it does use a little bit of oil, but at our cruising speed, she doesn't. So, yeah, every engine has its own little tricks. The oil pressure on the oil gauge of this one reads quite low, but it's actually just the wiring, but because it's not changing and it is reading something, then we've just left it and we're quite happy with that. But it's up to you and your boat what you're happy with, but I'll keep changing this oil and giving her a bit of love. Here is one of our city purchases that we've got. It's a portable aircon, and at the moment it is probably the hardest working thing we have on the boat at the moment. So it's a 3.2 kilowatt air conditioner, and the way it works is it has the heat exchanger, and instead of having the evaporator outside, or the bit that exchanges the hot air outside. It sucks it in through the side and it comes up this tube here, and you can see I've just temporarily set it up with the jumper. So the jumper is just sort of sealing the porthole and keeping that hose outside. I've taken the fly screen out and just popped it through there. We've found since coming into the marina that it's a lot hotter in here than it is out cruising, and one of the main reasons being is when you're on anchor, the boat is always hanging into the breeze, and with the hatches open you've always got a bit of a through draft through summer, which keeps things a lot cooler. Here, because we're stationary in a marina, we don't have as much control over the airflow through the boat, and with it being a lot stiller in land here, it's a lot hotter. So we've splurged and got ourselves an air conditioner for now, to get through Christmas and the next month. We're very, very happy with this. Very simple to install. It's on wheels so we can move it around. We've just taken the cushions off that seat just in case Charlie wants to play with it a little bit too much. And this 3.2 kilowatt does make the whole boat a little bit cooler. We do sort of angle it down to the aft cabin of a night time, and then we've got the shade cloth above Charlie's room at the other end to keep her nice and cool as well, and she's got dual fans on her up that end. And I highly recommend, if you are going to spend any length of time in a marina, investing in one of these portable air cons, which does add a lot more comfort to your stay. The only thing we have found is it's a little bit of a trap because it's so comfortable downstairs now. It has made the boat a little bit too comfy, and when we go to sea we will not be using this because we want to be out and about and active and doing things. And well, it's official, we just finished putting the for sale signs on the front of the boat there, and they're on the back as well, so hopefully everyone that walks past will be able to see her. Us here in Townsville. There's a couple of features that we like that we are going to miss. It's a masthead rig. What that means is that the forestay goes all the way to the top of the mast. You get fractional rigs as well, and that's where it doesn't go quite to the top, and it would be the fraction of how far up the mast it is. This one also, I don't know if you can see, it has individual backstays, so they're going to the top, and that just makes a really strong, really stout rig. One of the jobs we're going to be doing here is we're going to polish her. So it's great that we've got this whole pen to ourselves so we can do that. You can see at the back there, that's one of our solar panels. So we have them there on hinges on the lifeline, and we can put them out when we're at sea. We don't need them to be out at the moment because we're on shore power. Another thing I'm going to miss is this big 25 horsepower. You don't really need that much, but geez, it's been fun. The davits on this one, they fold in, but we didn't need to fold them in because we had to pay. The sizes here are up to 59 feet, so we figure with that on the back it's 59 feet anyway. Another thing we're going to be doing when we are here is a bit of varnish work. You can see that it's she needs a little bit of love there. Here's Kate, she's just looking at her latest purchase from Marketplace.
We found someone on Marketplace who's selling a whole heap of fishing gear. So we've gotten 4 rods and a whole bunch of lures and everything. And while we're in the marina land-based, we're going to do a bit of Facebook shopping. So doing Sam's favorite thing, spending some money. We also have a laptop lined up as well to pick up later today, so it's going to be an Android. So I've always been an iPhone person, and Sam's now converted me to the Android, so now the Android and Sam's Android will talk to each other and we can do videos more easily. So the laptop's going to help, and I think I've also organized for like hopefully this gimbal type thing so we can get more steady videos instead of rocking back and forth while we're at sea, we can get more steady video. So yeah, gonna be spending some money. Sam's favorite thing.
On the wish list, I noticed she's been looking at a lot of washing machines as well, so we'll have to keep you posted with what happens there.
Yes.
But at the back here, we've got the life raft on the side. This one here is retrieval, so if someone falls overboard, we can get the main halyard, connect up to it and pull them up, because there's no easy access when you are in the water. At the back here, this is we've converted that to our rubbish bin, but it was gas storage, and this one here has 2 gas bottles on the side. On top, that's the gas bottle for the barbecue, which is one of my pride and joys. We've got lighting and LED lighting up top out here, and some speakers and things for music. On top of it is the solar array. Underneath here is great storage. It's massive, so it's probably not very clean, but you can climb in there. It goes all the way to either side. Got a couple of life rings for safety. Here's the hose, because I've still got to fill us up with fresh water. These here are what you call check stays. People call them running back stays. So when you have your staysail, which is the sail, the smaller one at the back here out, that doesn't go all the way to the top of the mast. So this stay goes either side as an opposing force, just to keep it all nice and steady when you are in weather. You see that we've run all these sheets in that forward. The reason that we've run them forward is so we've got a cover there that I've stuffed there that I'm going to set out. This is Charlie's cabin underneath here, and it'll just give her a nice bit of shade and make it a lot cooler for her. We've got a forward locker here, so this is the anchor locker and spare ropes and things. Our anchor windlass and an anchor. This forward sail here we call a genoa. What makes a genoa is when it's from the very front of the boat and it goes past the side stays. If it's in front of them, it's a head sail. If it's behind them, a genoa. And these here are the ropes that put it away. We've put the covers on our perspex windows here with the bimini. It makes it a lot cooler. And we've got to put the sail in the boom bag properly and do a few other bits and pieces. That's just a quick walk around summer. Thanks for watching, and join us next week as Kate does a full galley tour. And don't forget to hit subscribe and like to follow our journey.